There is a lost art on social media that we all need to make sure we're doing just in case we go viral. There are times when people go viral and nothing happens for their business, and there are times people go viral and it is life-changing for their business. And the thing that we're talking about today is what I think makes up a lot of the system for catching virality and converting that into customers. One of the hardest things with social media is it's more top of mind marketing when it's organic, keep things up, and it's really hard to track where people came from and is it working in the sense of sales. That's where ads come in. You can really track it with ads, but when you go organic, it oftentimes works as top of mind marketing, meaning out of sight, out of mind. Nope, you're never going to be out of sight when you're always posting on social media. People will see your videos. If they have interest, then they will decide to purchase, but it could be way later on down the road, and they may say that the reason they bought from you was because of something completely different, and they're totally ignoring social media. I went to a restaurant the other day, and the only reason I heard of it was from TikTok. Someone posted that this place existed and it looked interesting enough for my wife to send it to me, and we went and visited, and they had no idea that their TikTok post worked because there was nowhere in the process that they knew we came to their restaurant because of TikTok. And this is part of the problem when it comes to measuring for organic social posts. On ads, you should, when you set up ads, know exactly how many people clicked, and then it's a numbers game of this many people clicked, they visited this page, they have the tracking codes, and they bought. And then you can find your conversion ratios. But when you just post on social media without doing ads, it gets really difficult to measure that. So here are just a few ways to help measure that, which also helps when you happen to go viral. So one of the ways is to actually include it in your sales upfront process. Any sort of data, including name and email, just add one more of how did you hear from us with dropdowns or write it in blank. Then you will always know if people heard about you from this or that. Now, the other thing is if you have a podcast going and you have another social media team, so how do you know if the podcast is working? Well, maybe you need to get more granular. Like, hey, I saw a podcast clip. I listened to your podcast. Or people that rebook with you have it as part of their form that, hey, I remember to rebook because I saw this. If you don't collect the data, you're never going to know. Now, the only other thing is you can look at the whole vibe thing of it. You can compare your revenue and where you were before you started your podcast, before you started your social media marketing, just to see if it works. And here's the level you were. You started doing these actions, and then you ended up here. There's a lot of confounding variables when it comes to those kind of tests because you don't know if it's only because they saw you on social media or only because they listened to your podcast. There could be other things. You could have ran into them at Walmart and they saw you and then they got reminded. The thing about social media is you got to look at it a little bit differently when it's organic. You got to look at it as top of mind marketing, so you're always reminding people. They say it takes 7 to 12 touch points before someone actually converts. This is a touch point. Now, I believe that number should go up, and I heard it from someone the other day. It's 28 now. So if that's true or not, I do believe it to be higher because of the world we live in and the fast pace and the competitiveness. You could have a blue ocean type of business where if someone only heard about you once, they would convert, but the likelihood that that's the case is slimmer. So it's all about in your sales process, you have to actually integrate and embed into your forms, into the questions you ask, your everyday booking people. Are they watching or listening or seeing you on social media? Ask them. You got to be with the customers. You got to get the vibe, and you could get real data too through the forms and submit it. But if you don't do that, you could think that your videos don't do anything, and then you kill it. And when you kill it, now nobody's hearing about you and things got even worse. So then you scramble and you try to find another idea and you keep reverting back to old behaviors. instead of pushing through and just setting up the system correctly in the first place. So if you're running into this video and you have not set up your systems to ask, how did you hear about us? Have you seen us on social media? Did you listen to our podcast? Or any other way to catch that information, then it's going to be very difficult. Now, you could also calculate views. When you calculate views, it still doesn't mean sales. However, if you calculate the views, it can help guide you towards better content for your business. So that way you can dive deeper. What were the things we were talking about when this video got 145,000 on TikTok and then these ones got 1,000? See the difference? One took off. What were you talking about? Oh, I was talking about acne or whatever it would be in your business. Then it's like, okay, that's something that you should talk more about. It doesn't mean you have to stay there forever, but if you're not talking more about it, then you're losing. So definitely use that. And you're kind of testing and measuring consistently and constantly. So another way to help catch organic traffic is by a link in bio. Yes, that old thing that we all deleted or we all kept it or we all tried to put anything and everything in it, it's different now, especially with personal branding. If you go personal branding, it's great to have it. When you go with personal branding, how you have your bio set up matters, and it matters more than you know. Is there a clear and concise thing that says you're in business and you're open to doing business with people and a call to action for that? And you need one singular call to action. This is where we fail. There was a thing called Linktree that was out, and we all used it because we'd say link in bio, but how do we remember to keep up with all the links in the bio? And what if someone sees a video later? Then what do? Well, the answer was Linktree. You get to have a tree that's full of all the different things that you do. Now, this isn't actually the best practice anymore because now people are more responsive when they respond in comments. So then we're on this trend of type this word in the comments below, and then it sends a DM. And what's genius about this is it can then get people into your pipeline and you have information. So we're constantly experimenting with things like this. However, I don't think link in bio is actually dead. I think there's a different purpose and we've just been using it wrong. If you have a program called MiniChat or you have Go High Level, definitely use the comment thing. Comment the word reply and we'll send you our AI link to join our school community or whatever it is. That is really good, but we're in a both and world. It's not either or. And that requires a particular system and setup. And I advise that you do that and set it up. But something we actually can help with in what we do for all of our podcasts, we call it Smart Links, and it's in JT Social to create multiple different link trees per podcast and set it up a particular way. And I'm actually in the middle of setting that up right here on the Entrepreneur Experience podcast profile, which is one of our other podcasts. I definitely advise you go and watch that and subscribe to that. Also, we have a school community where when you join it, your business will grow because we're a community of like-minded people and we got resources and courses. Anything that rhymes with horses, then you got it. Other than horses. So on this, you need to make sure your profile is set up just in case you go viral. Instead of including everything, include one thing. And make that one thing also funnel people into what you want them to do. So for a personal brand, I'm Jerry Taylor, and I want to invite you into our school community. So if I'm promoting that call to action all the time, then I know school needs to be the top link. Now, there are other various things I say, but those can be thrown at the bottom. So you just kind of got to know the workflow and where to go. But the less options, the better. And that's the problem with what Instagram gives you. They do give you multiple links to kill Linktree. So why do you need Linktree? Well, now it's actually confusing. So if you go to the profile, okay, ignore my battery. I know people are looking at that. But if you go to the profile, you see this. That's a long link. It's not pretty. And one more. And then you got to click that. And then you got to decide. So it kind of works the same in a way, but at the same time, you don't know who's clicking this. So when people see this, they're like, which one do I click? I don't know. Podcast Hub, what's that? Watch on YouTube. Okay. So for a podcast, I found that it's better to communicate it and set it up a little bit better and in a clean way. So when you click edit profile on the phone, then you can see there's links and then delete. Don't have a bunch here. Remove these, have one call to action so it doesn't get lost in translation and show up on the other page. No one clicks page 2 on Google. No one's going to click link 2. This is best practice. And then you paste your link. So we're going to click done. Now on our profile, there's one call to action. It looks way more clean. Let's see what it looks like on the desktop. Okay, and on the desktop, it looks like it's right here. Okay, so now we got that there. People can click this, and then we will know that they came from Instagram because you want to put this everywhere. And then desktop, phone, or whatever it is, we have this, and it's clean, and it looks great. And the same thing if you are running a personal brand, then you want to set your bio up a little bit differently. You can see we've made it simple, but there are some tweaks we need to make here. So on this bio, first, it's like, who am I? And really use very, very, very little words so that if people follow me, they understand that this is me and this is what they're going to get when they follow, which is content about faith, family, and fun. But then on here, I said owner of @JT VSUALS and co-host of Entrepreneur Experience. I could put more, but I just picked a couple of them. And these are still on Instagram tags so that people, if they've heard about it or come from one of those channels, there's credibility there. But the one call to action I really want to happen is for people to join the school community, which is the website here. What's missing is when I click more, as you can see, it says join my school community for business resources, arrow down. That's good, but the tweak was we had to click the button more. So now I got to finagle that and work on it until I don't have to click the button more, figure out the character limit, and don't exceed that so people click more. Who is going to click more? Who does that? It's the same with YouTube. You want the link on the top so that way if someone clicks more, they're looking for something deeper. They're not looking for that link and you don't have to bury it. You got to make it as easy as possible. So this is just one of the few things to help capture that. The hand emoji pointing down helps because it helps it stand out and people know to click it. That will help get more results organically by doing that and do that on all of your platforms. TikTok on personal accounts. You have to get to 1,000 followers before you can actually do this. Go help me get 1,000 followers on TikTok. That way, if you have a video, you go viral, people can be funneled into all of this. If you just point to your website and you didn't think about the journey they're taking, then it's not going to help them and it's not going to convert. It's going to end on your website. You don't want to just give information. You want to inspire people to take action. So it depends on what you're selling and what you're doing. If it's a service, building a community, building a personal brand, whatever it is, this can really help funnel that and get you through there. And I hope that this video has made sense to you and that you're watching it all the way through, because if you are not set up for this, when something happens like virality or heck, even like someone with 20 views and they watch your video and they don't know what to do because they don't have your information, you just assume everyone knows you or will look on the website. No, you need to guide people through the buying process as best as possible. Definitely make sure and funnel people the right way. So let me know, what do you do to help track organic reach and KPIs for your business on social media? What are some of your best practices to help guide people toward a mostly frictionless call to action so your business can increase and grow? I'm Jared Taylor. I want to thank you for watching this video. Make sure to keep on keeping on.